What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from the Dyslexic Investor. If anyone's out there, if you don't mind writing in chat to make sure my microphone is 100%, or slam that like button to let me know that people can hear me out there. I did test on my second computer always to make sure, but you just never know when you hit that live button. Things can go completely wrong. So hope everyone is doing well. Today we're going to be discussing a couple things regarding the markets. Looking ahead towards on earnings coming out this week. We're going to be looking at some of the majority of the technical analysis, looking at what happened in the past week. We did have a live stream on Friday evening. There was due to some scheduling conflicts on my behalf that I had to do it earlier, and I apologize for that. But looking forth for a fantastic live stream today. I hope everyone's doing well, and we'll see how it goes for the rest of the week. We're going to be doing a kind of a recap on previous week and so forth. A lot of questions coming in regarding Warren Buffett stuff, looking at potential sell-offs and crashes and all that boo-ha-loo-ha, things like that. So we'll see on what the week will bring. What's up, MA? What's up, Wesley? What's up, Jeff? I appreciate you guys out there. Really do appreciate it. I don't know if you guys can see it in the description below. I did set up a Discord server. I'm still working on adding some of the custom bots to it. I'm working on adding the channels and different parameters around that, and we'll see on how that goes. I'm slightly new to that. I use Slack aggressively a lot at work, so I wanted to say how it goes from there. You think limit down, MA? Okay, we'll see. Limit down so that the futures markets has already opened up, and they're only down about a 1.7%. But anything can happen. Like, I'm not saying no or whatever, but things can change on a fly for sure. So if you guys looked into, again, the description below, you should see on the Discord channel. Apologize, it's a little messy. I'm setting up some bots in there to kind of clean things up. We'll push out information. It will give alerts and different random things that we would be excited about. So again, that is in the description below. It's free. It's just fun. Want to build an awesome community and educate folks on trading, and love to hear other people's trading ideas and so forth. How it might go. Alrighty then, let's go ahead and take this guy away. You should be able to see my screen here now. So looking at the screen here, we're looking just at SPY as of right now. We're just do a quick little recap, which we kind of did on Friday. Looking at the movement down we've had the last basically 2 days, which was Thursday, Friday, on the combination of doing air quotes, a potential market sell-off. It's not that steep yet. This is somewhat normal in the sense of the overall trend that we're currently sitting in right now, and for potentially kick higher. If we can just draw some imaginary lines here, also known as trend lines for some folks, we can kind of see here that we kind of broke the trend here with that gap down right here, but the trend I like to follow more is just the 21 exponential moving average, and it hasn't closed below that. So that being said, like it needs to prove itself to me before I can start saying this is not looking pretty. If this was a complete red candle from the 200-day here, all the way down to the yellow, and it closed like on it or right below it, that would still be an indication of that's a lot of selling pressure, and that would be more of an indicator to giving it a higher priority of a selling indicator. Like those are usually just a weird capitulation, and just people are just playing flip-flop. Again, it was the end of the month, so a lot of people were getting out of their positions, moving things around. And then on top, of course, everyone over in the comment section, Mr. Elon tweeting about freedom and different various other things, selling all his assets. Just a little very confused by that. Some of the narrative that I'm hearing about that is him having feeling guilty of getting millions of dollars from his stock performance the last couple quarters, and he just wanted to bring it down to bring his wealth down, which I kind of don't see that, but I see the more common understanding of him having the overall the idea of having him sell all his stock, because he has a lot of his net worth is basically in SpaceX and Tesla, and him just basically self-sabotaging it for some reason. I don't know. Mental issues. I'm not sure. I hope he's doing well, though. All right. Again, so you guys have any tickers out there? I'm just going to kind of run through this list. I'm going to create another new list. I always kind of keep a list up and running, so we're just going to do we'll do stream list. Okay. So if you start putting those in there, I'll start adding those on there. I'm probably going to have to do the old Tesla. Oh, I can't write. See what I'm typing. TSLA. And then I saw someone write shop. I wanted to do Tyson's. That's like one of my shorts. I wanted to look at... What else did I want to look? Oh, I want to look at Disney. That's reporting this week. So I'm going to pull over the graphic here in a second of what is coming down the chute this week. So as you can see here, we have quite a bit of earnings. The earnings power is not as large as a market cap as what we saw last week with Facebook, Amazon, Tesla, Google, Microsoft report. We have a little bit smaller conglomerate, but bigger sections. So we can kind of see here, we did talk about Tyson's a little bit. It's very interesting. Again, these are all Monday morning before the bell, so before 9:30. Some huge indicators that I want to look at too is on Tuesday. It's a pretty big day. It's going to be on Wayfair, which is ticker symbol W. We want to look at that. Disney for sure. Beyond Meat is pretty big play. I own a fairly large share in Activision Blizzard. Pinterest is going to be an interesting one to see and look at. And it looks like a lot of energy here with Marathon and Dominion here. Shopify is going to be a huge one. CVS is going to be super important to look at. PayPal, Square, Peloton. I want to hear what Peloton's saying. If more people are buying their bikes due to the fact of people staying at home, are they seeing a huge increase and so forth? ROKU, Uber, Trade Desk, Dropbox, Booking is going to be a huge one to see as well on how big of a decline is their market due to the fact of no one's really traveling, no one's going on vacation, and so forth. And so that's basically some of the ones that are going to be kind of going through the list here. If you have any other ones, go ahead and throw those in the chat. And if you've just joined, don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoy this content. And also, once you hit the like button, scroll just a little bit further and you'll see a description. In that description, you'll see a link to the DI Investors Club Discord channel. And that's going to be somewhere. I'm still building it out. I just literally booted it up a little bit ago, probably earlier this week. But then I started playing around with it. So I want to see a lot of folks in there, so we can kind of keep the things throughout the week going. And that would be the best place to ping me or message me questions, so forth. Alrighty then. Let's go pop over here. And then let's go to the chat here. Alright, so some of the things are coming in here. Jeff is asking on what ticker is going to be the YOLO. I'm not sure about that. Shopify would boost the market a little pretty soon, Wesley. I can agree with that. Again, Shopify is going to be enabling a lot of people to do things differently online. So I think it's going to be a really good move for them moving forward. So we can do SPY. We kind of did SPY, so we can go ahead and look at the trade, the options chain here. So again, the end of the week is going to be the 8th, So it's going to be that Friday. So we're going to look at that options chain. So that's 5 days out. We're going to look at, it's a plus or minus $10. Again, that can be changed from any other way and so forth. It looks like people are joining the Discord channel. That's awesome. I'm going ahead and probably should mute that because I'm going to hear a lot of pings joining in. So the 8th is going to be that Friday, and the market is saying with a pretty high IV at about 40% due to the volatility, we're saying plus or minus basically $11. That's going to be a significant move from where we're at today. And again, $11 is pretty big movement within the market here. So $11 from here is basically, we've closed at 282, just add $11, which took us to 293. So it's going to be taking us nearly to the potentially hitting the 200-day exponential moving average on the daily chart. And if we do minus $11, that would take us to 271, sorry. Basically 271, so basically here, and that's going to be substantially below this low here, and again, if it closes below the 21 exponential moving average, so that could be, again, that's quite of a very far range here. So I'm going to add my movement triggers here to kind of see what happens. Again, if the market kind of continues to sell off into Monday, I can see a potential reversal Tuesday, or also what they call in the business a flip the switch, or you can call it a reversal day. Usually if you have a huge down day, there's usually a reversal, like you can kind of see here, huge down, up, huge down, and then up. Not substantially up, but they kind of have that switch, that little ebb and flow. Oh, we got the Wall Street Bets in here? Oh, okay, what's up? Wall Street Bets is looking for ROKU for a trade. ROKU, okay, we can take a look at ROKU. So if you're doing a YOLO bet for your Wall Street Bet style trade, you're going to be doing some long calls or puts depending. So looking here on the daily chart, I kind of did a little bit of analysis here, having a lot of overhead resistance around 31. I want to see what the market move is for that week, plus or minus basically $16, nearly $17 for $115 stock. So if that breaks, we're looking well below to like the $90 level, so $98. I see that, I talk about this quite a bit, these huge gaps here when a stock market jumps up, that it could be an indicator for a potential pullback, because this gap hasn't been filled yet. Meaning by that is that the market has to kind of not sell off to it, but can kind of slowly grind to it and potentially fill that gap. It doesn't have to fill it completely, but it would be healthy for it to break to all-time highs to fill that gap first. So my little worry here is this gap here on top of it just kind of pointing lower. ROKU again should do well, right? Because of a potential look at the market in the sense of everyone's at home streaming Netflix or watching TV, so ROKU should be doing well, but I think there's not going to be that many sales of TVs and services, so I don't know how the exact money or how they monetize their money or their cash to get to make the revenue and so forth. So that's going to be a question mark for me. If I was a betting man, I would go lower, depending on how Monday happens, if it continues below the 21. Because it looks like a lot of support here, because you have the 200 here and the 21 coming up here. So there could be a quite little nice support level there for them. But that being said, that is going to be, again, everything's a coin, earnings is a coin flip. I don't have a crystal ball. So that being said, just be super mindful of that, my friend. And we'll look at that in the coming week. Somebody says, got calls on Activision, pray for me. What calls did you get, my friend? So Activision is ATVI. They kind of sold off this earlier this week, which was really strange and kind of like scared me a little bit, because they had this huge drop out of nowhere. Like, that was scary, but again, it held to 21. It never closed below the 21, so I still had to hold my position. that was scary because it dropped from $67 down to $63, just with a flick of a switch, but it held where I wanted it to. It didn't break exactly that level. With the earnings, again, we can look at the potential movement here. Again, the eighth is going to be plus or minus $5.50. Pretty substantial for a $60-ish stock. So if it closed here at 64, so basically it can go all the way up to all-time highs, basically hitting around the 68 level. Or if it can break lower, it can go down to like the 59 level. And I kind of have a line in the sand at 61.14. Again, this is a long-term position for me, so it doesn't allow me to kind of get out and sell this. This would just be a position if it sells off into lower levels. More or less, if it gets down to the $57 level for my long-term account, it would have to be adding to it, unless it doesn't come down literally from here to here in one day. But that being said, yeah. Okay, we have Wesley's asking for OXY. Is that Occidental? Did Warren Buffett say something about that? Again, I'm not a fan of oil stocks. Like this, the daily chart just kind of prints itself. It's just been a downtrend. It has not broken. It tried to break above the 200 here, failed. Terrible bad quarter. It looks like they have a quarter coming out Tuesday. I wouldn't want to touch this, honestly. Let me kind of give you a better look here. I want to look at the daily here. Yeah, it's not. It's a bet that I wouldn't want to take. There's other things you want to put your money in, right? I wouldn't want to touch this. It's kind of just trading much lower, unless you're short. It kind of looks like a potential short here at 17. Really short term and keeping on a very tight leash because it looks almost like a double top here for a potential push lower. Again, it didn't close below 21 yet. The moving average is still somewhat nicely stacked, but they're super close to each other, meaning capitulation because of this unknown entity out here, also known as earnings. NASDAQ, MA is asking, NASDAQ is not getting any higher. Tech wreck embark. Elon Musk can't be more clear. This is so I guess you're saying that the overall technical indicators are saying that tech's going down and so forth. I'm going to show you some charts here in a little bit. I kind of found a new site that I kind of like to look at to kind of give a better market breadth, in a sense, to kind of give you a better overlook. Johnny K, what do you think about Netflix? Yeah, we can take a look at Netflix. That had a fairly strong outlook, right? Oh, if I can type it here. NFLX. Okay, yeah, this looks good. I'm not exactly sure what your position is. It did hold the 21 on the daily chart. It's kind of bounced and kind of slightly recovered. So the purple dots, I kind of added those to my charts as well. These are the parabolic SARs. I know that sounds like a handful. They are basically an indicator of a potential trend change or direction change. So in theory, what this happens is they start printing up if a stock is going higher, but once the little dots switch, it means that the trend might be heading lower. The tickers are the candlesticks are getting really close to it, so we could see a potential switch in the market, indicating a nice little print higher to potentially the 450 level. Since we've already had earnings kind of sold off, I think people are just kind of took that as a breath and reevaluating what they think about Netflix. Again, Disney is also reporting on Tuesday, so I think that's going to be a kind of a time to look very closely on potentially if it sells off after Disney earnings or so forth, depending on what Disney says about potential new subscribers, things like that. Again, Netflix has like 180 million. Disney has like 40 million or something like that compared to all their services. So a small footprint compared to Netflix, but Disney is probably on the fast track on catching up. That being said, Netflix on the daily chart closes below like the 405 level, it would be potentially to look at maybe breaking of the trend, and again, I don't know if it's going to head lower, but it could be slowly grinding lower, and then of course looking for breaking into the new time highs. I hope that was acceptable for your analysis. I didn't know what your position was. MA saying cash is king. Yeah, sometimes. Cash is always good to have on hand, and especially with potential market downturn, it's always good to have some dry powder. Holding Tesla in my IRA because it's the future of cars and energy. Just keep trading them. I completely agree with you, my friend. It's Tesla. Not trying to preach to the choir here, but yeah. Catch this game. Okay, thanks. Oh, Joshua says options on Tesla 250 divided by minus 365 delta spread. Okay, so you got the call spread, it looks like, right? Is that a call spread you're talking about? There we go. So you're saying May 15th debit spread on the call side, I'm guessing. Let's see here. You would say May 15th, the monthlies. Scroll all these. Or are you doing, or you're doing puts, it sounds like. You're doing this, you're buying the 650, and then you're selling the 35s for it. So it's kind of, so you're saying that potential Tesla can sell off into this limit. Yeah, I in the short term, I think Tesla could go lower, because again, it's going to take a little bit for some people to react to what Elon said, unless he comes out and just completely apologizes and buys everyone's difference back. And we just talked about the parabolic SAR. That purple dot just switched to the top of it. So we could see a potential more downside. It did close above the 21 on Friday, but I could see a potential slightly, a little bit more bleeding lower or slowly grind lower into Monday or Tuesday, and potentially having a slight switch once this gap right here is filled, probably around the 655 level, which kind of would be what you're seeing as well, my friend, with your spread there. Trevor says NIO and AQSQ both are medical companies that are FDA approvals coming up. I can look at them, but with those FDA approval stocks, it's kind of hard to see which way it can flip, because once those FDA approvals comes out, it's a completely coin flip. So I'm guessing this is with the COVID stuff. I think we talked about this one the other day. It closed below the 21, kind of breaking the trend again. With the overall market selling off, it's kind of hard to kind of gauge this, because with the whole market selling off, it was kind of like, it just takes things lower. So how everything's go Monday, Tuesday could be pretty key. It looks like they have earnings as well on the 11th, so that's Monday of next week, or a week from now. That could be, again, critical for them. It sounds like you are already in this, and I hope the best for you, my friend. And then AQST. Let's see. Loading. Oh, it didn't type. What the heck? AQST. Thank you. This one looks slightly better, just because, again, it's above the 21. That's all I can really say to these medical device companies. The Jacob money flow is higher too, even though it kind of sold off a little bit. So if I was a betting man, I would be use my own money. I like to see this one better. But again, this one has earnings on Monday after the market, so that could be kind of a coin flip there as well. I hope that helped you, my friend. Take it easy. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the analysis. I'm sad AMD, or I'm sorry, Beyond Meat took a dump. Makeshift player. Yeah, I like that. I like their story, honestly. I know some people always complain about their meat, which it's some of the stuff doesn't taste really that great. They do have earnings as well this week. I think it's on Tuesday. Yeah, it looks like Tuesday. Again, it didn't close below 21. It's below the 5 and the 8. The switch has kind of happened here. The Chaikin money flow is going lower. RSI is going lower. Momentum's going slower. But if you believe in the thesis, like I don't know if you're just completely trading the earnings or what. But if you're a longer term investor into the overall industry of getting off the normal chicken, beef stuff and going to the future of food potentially, this could be a great little stock here, buying on a pullback. I'm not seeing any huge gaps here that it needs to fill, so there's nothing really too negative to the downside. I did put an indicator here at $82 for potential earnings plays. If it sells off, that goes into here for potentially grind lower, and then of course having quite a bit of resistance up here around the 200, so they'd be around 112 to 113 for potential overhead resistance due to the fact of looking at the market having with the previous tops and having previous a lot of troops trading up here, and on top of the overall market going there as well. So I hope that was informative. It looks like people are joining the chat, so I want to close this out for a second, and then we'll the Discord. So if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that like button and go scroll down slightly below that into the description panel, and you can join the Dyslexic Investor Discord chat. It's kind of rough looking right now, but we're going to be adding some bots in there. We're going to be kind of customizing some news threads, having some charting systems in there, and so forth. So hopefully you guys can check that out and enjoy that. Okay, let's see here. Okay, my chart just went crazy here. Yeah, I figured that, Joshua, because I figured that you had a put on there. What's your opinion on E.L.F? E.L.F. Why is this not typing? My keyboard not working? I'm not sure what this is. That's an interesting looking chart. Let me look here real fast. Throw some fibs for you. Again, didn't break above 50, which is kind of concerning. It looks like it has quite a bit of momentum. What is E.L.F. Beauty? Is this like a beauty company? It's interesting. I like it. I really do. It looks like there's some overhead resistance at the 89 here. Again, that's a fib number. That's why I like to use that. A little bit overhead. There is no earnings. Potential earnings the 21st, but it's not confirmed yet, because it looks like it just had earnings though too. So this kind of makes sense here, but again, it's not fully confirmed yet because you don't have the full exponential point. We can kind of look here at the options chain and see when their earnings will be. It's probably going to be in May because the implied volatility is much higher. I'm looking for a move of just $1 plus or minus. That seems okay. It's only a $12 stock. My bad. Okay, I like this. If you're in this, like I feel like this is a great little play here. This has got some momentum behind it. It didn't sell off that much. It still has a lot of room to run for potentially to try to break above the 50% retracement. Yeah, I like this one a lot. Again, keep it on a short leash if you're not in it. Potentially getting it around, if you're playing a full momentum trade, buying it around 12-ish and for a push higher to 15-ish, maybe all the way up to the 200 exponential moving average, or breaking above the 90 here. So hopefully that was wise for you, my friend. Also, let's see here. So I just had a thunderstorm rolling in here in where I live. So if I lose power, if I just disconnect, I apologize for that, my friends. Okay, chat's going really fast right now, and I'm having a hard time keeping up. So yeah, Wall Street bets. Yeah, Buffett's holding a boatload of cash, a lot of cash for sure. So it looks like it just kicked me to the bottom here. Looking here, yeet yeet. Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of a rough ride. We can go ahead and look at the futures market right now. We're down 1.24%. We were down 1.7, 1.8 at one point. It's trying to get above the 21, which I like to see because as the funny thing as you wrote, I actually bought calls as well on Friday for potential reversal into the close. It did kind of hurt, and that some scar tissue was lost. But I need they're a little further out calls, but I need the kind of reversal to happen the next week or two to try to get up to at least above the 285 level. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see here. Any more tickers? Yeah, with Warren Buffett selling all his airline stocks, like his overall view, we can pull some of those up here real fast. DAL, which is what I own, is what my airline stock is I own, is that he sold a majority of it basically on the 18th and the 19th of last March for basically a huge loss, thinking that, again, Warren Buffett is a fairly older individual, so his time horizon for investing is a little bit lower. I don't know. I'm just making a joke there. I apologize. He's saying in the next 3, 4, 5 years that the airlines are going to be struggling and try to get capacity. They have too many planes right now, too many expenses, and there's the supply and demand is just not going to match. Basically indicating at a huge shortage on basically people willing to go back even the next year or so traveling and so forth due to just the scare of getting a virus or just the lack of people having money or the capital to go on vacation and travel and things like that. So those are going to be fairly large indicators on having them move forward. Again, Delta is going to be a fairly long-term 5-10 year stock for me. We just bought a little bit of around $20, so we'll just see what happens. I kind of needed to get my feet wet with that, so I'm pretty sure a lot of other people did as well. So we'll see. Who's saying I got Apple calls for Lewis is asking for I got Apple calls for 5.15. At this point, I might just hold it and see what happens. What call options do you have there, Lewis? If you don't mind replying back to, I bought Apple calls at 5.15. What strike price though? Yeah, TSN. Yeah, that's actually one of my short positions. Actually, is Tyson's. I'm looking forward to sell off. I really am. I'm looking for it to potentially go to the $52 level. I know that the market move is basically $5 this week, so we're looking at 60. It probably could go to 55 ish. I'm seeing that it can go lower to the 52. So that's what I'm betting on. These are my bets. These are just my opinions. I'm not a full financial advisor. That's what I'm looking at with the chart, with it curling over. That being said, this is in stock, not in options, though. I'm short the stock, not in options. I wasn't able to get in the trade for options in time on Friday. And then potentially kick higher. Yes, it can go higher, but you can kind of see this crazy overhead resistance here at 63.91. Call it 64. A lot of overhead resistance there for potential push higher. A lot of things are against it due to a lot of market turmoil, factory shutting down, the fundamental side of that. I don't know if it's going to have a really peachy outlook. No pun intended for peaches. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's my thought on Tyson's. You bought calls on Tyson's? Interesting. Johnny K is asking mRNA. mRNA. What is this one? This is another a pharmaceutical company. I'm not sure. This looks really pretty strong because again it's above the 5 and the 8 here on the exponential moving average. Again, it's got earnings coming up, so that could be kind of a red flag potentially to see what happens. It looks like, let's see what they're saying for just call it $7 for the move. So $7 from here. We're looking at 55, so that'd be potentially to the all-time high, or lower could be around the 41, 42 level, 43 level here, actually, for a potential to 21. So if it does come back to the 21, that would be a kind of a great buying opportunity if it continues to stay above that. But if it continues to go lower than the 21, of course, again, I'm not sure if you're trading options or stock or what your position is. Lewis is saying the 305 strike for Apple. We can give you a quick take a look at that for you, my friend. So Apple's AAPL. Load that up. I like Apple. I really do. Like long term, like it's going to be great. Like options and trading, like it's going to be a little more difficult the kind of time because Apple's such a huge boat in the ocean of the market. If it moves, literally moves the market. But it's super strong compared to what we saw in the overall market. A lot of the market sold off on Friday, right? Thursday, Friday. It had a fairly upbeat quarter, yes, but it's still above the 5 and the 8. Not many other companies can really say that. It has not touched the 21. If it does come back to the 21, I have a nice little alert here at 277 for a potential adding to that position, or adding. I would like to add a position to Apple. I don't own a current position, and it looks like a lot of overhead resistance here at basically a little over 300. Again, anything can happen in the market, but with the overall downturn that we had just last week, this could be a potential buying opportunity if the market continues to sell off Monday, Tuesday, potentially have a reversal Wednesday going into the end of the week. Just be super mindful of that, depending on if you're long-term or not. So you had the 305 May 15 call. It's not out of the question. There's still time left for sure. You got quite a bit of time. So let's go ahead and look at the delta. It's probably going to be like, okay, you got like a 20. Right now, if the market, as of Friday, it was a 20% chance of it being in the money. I'm not sure what you bought it at, but that could be potentially kick higher. But due to the sense of it being very close to expiration, that theta decay is really going to start kicking in and really killing the premium and taking that stock or that option substantially lower. So just be very wary of that because that theta really kicks in within like the last 14 days of that option. Holding NAT $6 puts for 15. Imperial August. Okay. NAT. Yeah, I'm still short NAT. We'll see what happens. I got a lot of negative comments and a lot of people saying I don't know jack crap about oil. I don't know anything about storage of oil, and I try to explain them in a very nice, calm, collective way, and not to give the troll his fruit, but to explain I'm not trading the fundamentals here, my friend. I'm trading the chart. The chart is totally overblown. We kind of filled this gap, which I said we would. I think we could trade sideways into earnings and potentially see where it goes from there. If it goes higher, sure. Like, again, my view on this is going to be a longer put option, looking at adding to my puts. Again, they don't go too far out. They only go into October, and buying these a couple puts here at $4 or $5. I think I started at. I have like a couple $100 in puts already there. That I think that it's just going to be. I'm playing the momentum game here. I'm wanting this to break below the 5 and the 8 exponential moving average for potential kick lower. I don't care how many oil tankers it's having or what the price of oil is and things like that. I'm just literally trading the chart. I do care to some extent in the sense of what oil is trading at. So oil is currently trading at $18. So this again is not going to be fairly well for NAT. So NAT might go up tomorrow because oil cannot get above this 21. This is the oil futures. Oil is having a heck of a field day to try to get above 21. But again, the economy is closed. Everything is not able to function. Things need to kind of get opened up and so forth. So we'll see what happens. We'll just have to go from there. But again, if you have the conviction to short something or get into something, don't let anyone else distract you. And if you there are some other strong viewpoints, and things can change in a 2 or 3 days, but you just kind of have to take the risk with that. Let's see here. Yeah, that's sad that the Tyson's workers got that. That's a bummer. I bought July SPY puts at 70 strike price with house money. Okay, that's you bought $70. You bought the $70 strike. Well, good luck with you, my friend. Tesla puts. What is that? Milken 123. Tesla. I think we kind of did Tesla. I think Tesla could go lower due to people still digesting the overall tweets from Mr. Elon Musk. What do you think about Charter Spectrum? Especially they had earnings went up. What is your opinion on its near future? Thomas Trey. Okay, we can take a look at that for you, my friend. So that's CHTR. It sounds like you have a little bit longer time frame on it. It looks like it had earnings, so that is a good indication. Again, it's above the 5 and the 8. The parabolic swing has already happened, which is good. It's above the 21. The moving average is slightly nicely stacked here. Potentially a nice push higher. I think, let's see here. It's above the 78.6. So this is a pretty highly priced stock. We're talking about $500 some odd dollars. This could easily be pushed higher. I'm not seeing anything on the radar for potential resistance. Let me pull up this chart for you, my friend. Just showing some resistance at basically once we hit around the 537 level, and again looking at the 510 level for potential resistance as well. Looks like we kind of failed there multiple times, but again, once earning is kind of out of the way, it could kind of maybe run free for potentially higher highs, and looking at some support levels around the 485 level for any moves down in the short-term trend. I have not done shop yet. Let's do shop. I totally forgot that one. My bad. Shop. I don't know if you guys can hear. I'm having a heck of a rainstorm right now outside. It is really raining cats and dogs. Not literally cats and dogs, but you get the expression. Shop. So I own shop. I love it. I want to own more of it. I like it. I love it. It's kind of curling over, as you kind of see here. But again, this is due to the earnings. My only concern is, and my fear is for shop, is that it has run so much already in the past 2 to 3 weeks. And that usually is never a really good sign for potential earnings. Even if the earnings is great, it could sell off. So I'm super ready to add to my position on this one if it goes lower. So they're saying $80 up or down. $80 where we're at today. I can do some math. 80, so way past here. So we're looking at basically 640-ish. 540-ish would be kind of, I want to say near the 21. It'd be past the 21. So it could be potentially here or even lower. There is a small gap. There's a bunch of gaps here, so this could be kind of attracted to it. And then, of course, $80 higher, again, hit its all-time high just about a week ago, which is $80 from here. So we're looking at 690 something. So it's nearly up to here to the 700s. I kind of want to do a fib retracement here to kind of see on what extension it hit. I think I did this the other day and it hit the 127. Yeah. So it's going to have some resistance at the 674 level if it heads all the way up. It did kind of come off here and hit its previous high here, which was the previous high in back in February. Basically 600, call it, for potential kind of a little slight landing of support. And it could potentially kick higher. But again, earnings, cannot stress it enough. They could give fantastic numbers like Amazon did, but they can say, oh wait, we actually had to do a lot of expenses, $400 billion worth of expenses due to the overall pandemic stuff and kind of keeping everyone safe and happy. They could, again, it's a complete coin flip. I would rather react to after it. Again, since I'm already in it, it's kind of easier to do. If it kind of comes selling off below the 21, I want to see on how it reacts the 2 or 3 days after earnings for potentially adding to the position. So I hope that makes sense for you there. Make shift player. Could you briefly explain your chart setup? Yes, I'm actually going to do a really cool video on my charts. And kind of going through that. So if I just give you a quick elevator pitch of my charts. So what I trade is basically I use a lot of exponential moving averages, fib retracements, and momentum indicators. So I use the 5, I use the 8, the 21. I can actually do a better job if I just show you this here. I give you a full screenshot. So I use the 5, 8, 21, 55, and 89, and then I also have the 200 on here, and I think I have the 100 somewhere on here. Not on this chart. I have the 100 exponential moving averages on there as well, and then down here I have just a momentum indicator. I use RSI as well with the Chaikin money flow on that indicator. So that's basically how I use my charts. Jackson G asked for Delta puts. So we kind of covered Delta already. Like I think it could potentially actually, I hate to say this, it could go lower, yeah, and I do own it. Like it could go to 22. I can see it go back to 22, honestly, and just trade sideways until a lot of more indicators kind of come out that the economy is opening up and so forth. So that's my basic opinion on that. Delta puts. Which program are you using to see a graph like this? I'm using Thinkorswim, my friend. Any thoughts on Square 50 put? Square. Oh, Square, the payment company. Square. What's Square symbol? Let me think. There is it. Is it SQA? No. That's Sequoia. Sequoia Capital is a fund? What? Wait a minute. Okay, it's not loading. Square is... I have to look that up. 1 second. Square... ticker... that it is SQ. God darn it. I thought it was SQ something. That was SQ something. My B, boys. You're going short Square. You're buying the, what did you say? The $50 strike price put for $6.19. Okay, that's an interesting bet. I want to know why. I can definitely see there's some resistance here at the 21, but I think if they do a very well quarter, a good quarter, this could print higher. So let's do some quick analysis here. Again, don't let me dictate your trading position, but it looks, this is interesting. So the 618 failed here as well, above the 200, kind of sold off here again with the overall market. It still did not break below 21, so we're still kind of pushing higher here, which is a good sign here for potential kick higher or lower. But but the parabolic SAR, which is these little purple dots, are still printing here. It's just a huge coin flip. Like, I don't know on this overall earnings. Like, if you're overall shorted, so you're doing $50, you're basically thinking it's gonna go down here. So what is the earnings movement looking like? Plus or minus $7, let's call it 7. Looking at 63 here, and then going lower, so 3, and then probably around the 55-ish, 54 level. Kind of has a little bit of gap here. Looks like we filled that already, though. I'm not seeing any large gaps here because we filled this. There's a kind of a gap here at 41 that hasn't been filled, but that's usually due to the enormous amount of bottom that we had. That's going to be a tough call for me. Like, I don't actually have the charts actually showing for a potential higher move. But again, unless you know something I don't know, earnings is a complete coin flip for me. Then David Anderson's asking for ATVI, Activision. Yeah, we kind of did that. I'll just cover that real fast. Again, basically sold off this week. Did hold a 21, which is great for a potential earnings move to go higher. Little concerning that it did sell off. Maybe someone knew something and was getting out. It's kind of scary to see the momentum going lower here. The squeeze is going lower here, but the shake of money flow is somewhat steady. Again, this is a really long-term hold for my portfolio, so if it goes lower, I like to add to it. Again, a coin flip going ahead. It's going to be plus or I don't know what's going to happen with earnings, but if it goes lower, it could hold around the 61 or even lower, and then if it does well, it can go easily up to the 68 plus potentially. So hopefully that does answer you there, David. My thing just got reset again. A chat window. Let's see here. My chart is just going crazy. Let's see what's going on here. Woods says someone said he sold you when you sell your put 10 minutes before Elon Musk's tweet. That must be painful. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm not laughing at you. I just feel the pain. And Yeet, yes, he has our respects. That's just unlucky market timing. What is your opinion on the airline puts like American Airline? Again, I think the airlines could go lower substantially. Not substantially. I mean, they could go lower for sure, but I think a lot of things are already priced in. So we can look at AAPL, which is American Airlines. Earnings already came out. This could easily go back down to $10, in my opinion. It's still below the 21. Again, these are just a huge question marks in the market because we've never had to live in a time like this here in the market with the overall pandemic going on and the travel bans, that it's just super hard to figure things out. Taking what Warren Buffett's saying to the extent of airlines are taking 3 to 4 years to potentially even coming back because there's just so much inventory they have. They have so many planes, so many different things. They have the expenses they pay for, and the overall demand will not come back that fast. So if you're doing a longer dated put, so forth, maybe if what I'm doing is I'm holding long Delta stock. So that's just my opinion there. Andreas Fung says Amazon. Yeah, we could do Amazon. We did that. I think have we done that already? I can't remember. Everything's a blur. Amazon, love it. I really do. I really do love it. It did hold a 21. Hold a 21 here for a potential. If it continues to break below 21, which is basically 22.58, and closes below it, then this whole movement and this trend is kind of in the wraps. Let me take a sip of water real fast. My throat's really dry. So this whole move, basically pre-earnings, just literally scared everyone and basically sold the stock short after they said they're spending $4 billion on expenses. That being said, I think if it continues to sell off, it's not looking like right now. It hasn't closed below 21, so it hasn't proven it to me. And then also the 8 hasn't crossed through the 21 to prove it to me as well. So what I mean by that is basically looking here. The previous earnings did great, kind of went up, then started coming lower, gapped substantially lower below 21. Again, this was due over pandemic. Then you have the 5 and the 8 crossing the 21 for potential going lower. Then what happens, usually when the 8 crosses it over, it kind of wants to tap the 21, and then if the 8 doesn't come back, that's the time to short. Let me give you another example here, a little further away. This is basically last summer. Earnings wasn't that great, sold off. 8 kind of came through. It actually never kind of tested the 21 because it just continued going lower. Let's see here. You kind of see here, kind of touch the 21. For potential kiss lower and so forth. And then again here, 8 crossing the 21, kind of didn't touch it and go lower. It kind of went through it and continued trading higher. Again, there's other indicators and other market segments that were going on there as well. That being said, Amazon, I kind of want to give you a better look at this. I just want to give you a better look at this. So on the weekly chart, so each time it gets around the 21. So if it hits 2015 again, I have to add to it. Or I have to create another ticker or start up another position in it, because that's what it just needs to happen. So hopefully that gives you some understanding. What's a good lithium stock to buy? I don't know. There was one miner that I used to trade many years ago, like 2016, 2015, that I traded in and out of quite a bit. But I can't remember. It was like, I have to look that up. I'm sorry, man. I can't think of the top of my head. Kind of did the Wesley's asking him for Berkshire stock. He's saying all airlines will. Yeah, I think airlines are going to have some overhead selling probably Monday, Tuesday, due to what Warren said this past weekend, for sure. I think if you're short airlines, you're going to be getting paid pretty nice Monday into Tuesday. Thoughts on Love? Love is going to be just like Delta and things like that. I think they're going to be taking a lot of heat for the next week or two until things kind of start coming back and we start hearing more news about the overall turning the economy back on. So let me look at Berkshire. Is it BRK? Was it Berkshire Hathaway B classes? Okay. I like it. Like, the only thing is I can think it's gonna sell lower, due to what Warren's saying. They're holding a lot of cash on hand. They did not buy back that much stock, which is a sign as well for potential lows. And the parabolic move just switched. The 8 is below 21. They closed below 21. So for potential selling lower, so we can kind of do a little fib here from high to low. And it didn't click on the high again. Need to tell them to fix that. There we go. So high to low, never got it really above the 50% retracement, just for a second probably there, and then just kind of been trading sideways, probably due to the fact of hearing what the Oracle says. If I was a betting man, I would be short this to around the 176 level for potential support once it lands there. Again, it does have earnings coming out. Looks like it, or something. I kind of like this to the short side, so that's a great addition that I would like to see. Oh, I forgot to put that. All right, I thank you, my friend, for that. Who was that? Give you Wesley. Thank you. I kind of did Square already, Java. Square is basically, I think it potentially can go higher. There has some overheads resistance coming up. Let's give you a quick look at it again. It has earnings. It has resistance a lot, basically around the $65 level, and the support will be around $60. Greg B is asking for WMT, which is Walmart. I like Walmart as well. They kind of, ooh, what the heck happened there? I didn't know that. I haven't looked at that chart in a while. What the heck? So this doesn't look too good, actually. Looks like earnings is coming up quite a ways out, by little weeks or two. Ugh. My throat. Sorry, I apologize for that. Give me a like if you like my yawn. I'm going crazy, stir crazy here. It's getting to 10 o'clock here. It's getting late for me. Between the 5 and the 8, it's still kind of... The 5 has crossed the 21. Not the most concerning, but once the 8 crosses the 21 at a pretty steep angle, this could potentially going lower. Trying to see this, it kind of gapped down. That's crazy. That's really weird that it gapped down like this. Did something happen, or I missed something in Walmart? Like, people are on strike or something? I'm not sure what's going on there. It's super strange here to see the gap down on Walmart like that. Looking at a long-term trend of this, look on the weekly here side, potentially looking for a hold around 118. That's the 21. The weekly chart still wasn't intact. It's kind of selling off here on the weekly chart because we had that huge move up, and usually it kind of wants to come down, hold a 21, and potentially goes lower or higher depending on earnings again. Earnings are coming up. There's a lot of squeezes out there indicating for a potential huge move, but overall, looking for support levels. Let me pull up this chart here for you, my friend. Again, support around 120, and again on the longer term time frame around 118. And if WMT comes all the way down to 116-ish, that would be a pretty strong support level as well on the 200-day average there. All right, definitely picking up United at the lows. Yeah, I think it's if you're going long term, like it's a good bet, I think. Where did you learn how to do technical analysis? Did you take a course? If so, what was the name? So I'm kind of get this question quite a bit on where I learned my technical analysis. So I'm going to do a video as well, kind of giving what I've been through my trading career, doing air quotes, on the silly, dumb classes that I've picked up on way back when in early 2010 on the penny stock stuff, and thinking I can become a millionaire overnight, trading penny stocks, and learn that really fast, and things like that. The other thing that I did learn, and I have to kind of give them a shout out to, is simpler trading. Let me pull it up here for you. This right here, these guys are super cool. So this is John Carter. I actually traded I did a pretty long-term membership with them for nearly a year, a couple years ago, and they do a fantastic job teaching a lot of options and a lot of technical analysis around that. This guy is super smart. He's actually the guy who created this TTM squeeze down here, and this is kind of my initial basis of how I started to trade and things like that. So hopefully that was helpful for you. John says LUV. Yeah, I kind of did the airline stocks. I think in the short term they can sell off Monday, Tuesday due to what Warren Buffett said at his annual meetings. We'll see what happens. He says, I'm shorting airlines through tomorrow open. Yeah, that would be probably a good thing. We'll see what happens, right? Wesley, thanks, dude. You're no problem, man. What do you think about HD for earnings? Is that Home Depot? Home Depot. I'm a huge Home Depot guy, and I haven't been back for a while. So they're missing my change there. I had some stuff delivered to the house, but that's about it. Let's see here. I love Home Depot, but again, Home Depot kind of plays a lot on the overall housing new homes. So a lot of people buy new homes. Again, one of their biggest segments is the garden seasoning, which is basically going on right now. And this is going to be a huge indicator on how they do. Earnings is going to be very volatile to see what happens. It's pretty far out. By pretty far, it's basically 2.5 weeks away. It's having some resistance here at the 200, but again, the moving averages are pretty nicely stacked here. I could see this potentially hitting some resolve here, and potentially if the overall market sells off, but it holds the 21, which is be around the 206 level, 207 level for a potential kick higher. But if it kind of sells off with the 5 and the 8 crossing below the 21, we could see lower lows. Kind of have an alert out there for myself to pick some up around 182. I don't think I'm going to get that, but you never know, right? I like to have these really obscure things out there. Let's see. What happened to my thing? I'm AO. Thoughts on CCL? CCL, my friend. That is Carnival Cruise Line. That's been a lot of the news a lot lately, and that thing kind of popped off a little bit, hasn't it? It popped off basically from $11 to $16. Pretty huge move in such a small price stock. Kind of selling off again with the overall market. The momentum is slightly changing. It's turning negative. RSI is going lower, but the Chaikin money flow is still negative as well. But again, there's just so many question marks with this business and how they're going to be able to make money, continue the business model, and so forth. I think that they're still going to be around for sure, but I think just like the airlines, it's going to take a little bit for them to be able to come back and create the market share and the profits they had just literally months ago. I think if you're doing a long-term bet on this with stock, I think you're pretty, I wouldn't say nothing safe. Again, I don't have a crystal ball or anything, but around the $12 if you haven't been in it already for a potential hold there. Walmart had the strike. Okay, Walmart did have the strike on Friday. Okay, so that's why it crashed. Amazon said costs were high. Yeah, costs were really high, Greg B, for Amazon. A lot of expenses for building out the pandemic stuff. Very helpful, Thomas. You're okay. GM. I kind of did GM in my video, but we can do GM here as well real fast. He has spoken about Uber or Grubhub yet. I have not, Francis, yet. We can do Uber and GM right now. Let's do Uber. Oh, sorry, GM was first. Let's do GM. That's General Motors. I think it's heading lower. What I did my previous video on within the Warren Buffett one, the 5 and the 8 have crossed below 21. It's closed below 21, and earnings are coming up again. Anything can change, but I think it could easily go to the $20 level or potentially even lower. Again, these are my bets, my opinions, but potentially it could go up again to 24. So this is basically the trading range that I set up for this week. So the high is going to be 24 or the low is going to be 17. So looking for a pretty volatile week again because it does have earnings, I think on Tuesday. Yeah, so Tuesday. So I might want to be adding to this as well. So I wanted to be 100% clear on that. All right, that being said, that's GM. Now let's do Uber. Uber, like, how are they making money? Like, no one's traveling and things like that. But I guess with Uber Eats, it's probably skyrocketing due to the sense of everyone's ordering takeout. Slightly concerning here as well. Kind of failed here touching the 200. We kind of saw that up here as well. That was during the overall pandemic and selling off hard. It does have earnings. Earnings are a coin flip. Like, if you haven't heard already, I probably said that about 1,000 times. It has not closed below 21. The moving averages are starting to curl over and go lower. RSI is going lower. The Chaikin money flow is kind of going on a downward trend. So if I was a betting man, what is the plus or minus $3? $3 lower from 20 28. Is it? Yeah, 20. Let's call it 28. So 28. So it'll be around 25 ish, which would be around. Yeah. And I can see that happening. So we're gonna move this to 25. Move that up. Why didn't you move? There we go. And then plus 3, so just let's call it 31. Again, that's going to be basically up here to the moving averages up here. So that being said, if you think and you have knowledge of more fundamental stuff than I do, you think that Uber Eats is really strong. I don't know any numbers really on Uber Eats. And for a potential kick higher and has great earnings, it could easily get to the $31 level. But again, you're going to have that overall resistance with the previous attempt here and failed, and with the 200-day coming up here. I kind of want to look at a quick fib here for you as well, my friend. I want to draw up this. Oh, didn't click. 50% retracement. So the 50% retracement is very key too. So 2760 is really key. Again, we kind of have the 618, and to look at that, it did not click where I wanted it to again. So a lot of overhead resistance here at the 618 plus the 200-day moving average. Again, with earnings, anything can happen, but there's a lot of overhead resistance, and it's kind of wanting to go down just due to the fact of with the overall market already kind of selling off. Luke, depending on what you want to buy. So if it's hard to buy puts because puts in the morning are usually very volatile due to the sense of if a stock is already printing down multiple percents or something, buying puts, the premium won't expand that much depending on that. You kind of have to have the move before it happens, unless there's another move that goes down. Makeshift player GE, I have puts because I don't think they have the restructure their organization since the collapse. GE is something else than GM, so I don't. GE is the refrigerator and all the other manufacturers there. Yeah, I think with China being closed down for so long, like GE is gonna have for sure backlogged and a lot of issues. And a lot of people don't want to buy a refrigerator right now and things like that. Wait, are you actually dyslexic? I am actually dyslexic, yes. Show love from Sam Francisco, new subscriber. You're welcome. Awesome, dude. New subscriber, nice. Hit that like button. Thank you. I appreciate that. How about Boeing? Have you gone over that yet? I have not. So we can do BA. BA, I think. I had initial short-term sell in here. Short-term sell basically indicating that it could potentially go lower. With the overall market going lower already, just this last week, we could potentially even go even lower. The squeeze is indicating it's going to go lower. The check and money flow is still negative. We had an earnings, was it kind of blah? By lower, how much lower can we go? It's already trading at 133. It can go to 0. Just remember that. Everything is anything can be changed like that. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have anything like that. I just I look at the not the probabilities of the moves, but look at the guidelines of the stock needs to prove it to me before I go long or short. And this is proving to me it's failed at the 21 multiple times. So you can see it here, 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 and here. So if it breaks above the 21 and closes above it, then that kind of negates all these other previous one and kind of creates a wash and a reset in the overall the trade of it. Right now, it's still a potential short. It can go, again, it's at 133. It can potentially go down to 0, of course. What's the probability of that? Probably less than 0. That's not possible, right? But that being said, it can easily fill these gaps. So it can easily go to 125. It can go back to 100. Like, I own BA long just to be 100% mindset. So I'm not giving a positive spin on this. I'm just reading on what the chart's saying. I bought this at literally at $80 or $92 or something like that, $100 multiple shares at 90 and 92, 93 or such level, and then I think I bought exactly at 100 some shares, and I had a nice write up. Did I sell it? No, because I had a little more longer time set. I should have cut a little bit off here once I saw it didn't really close above the 21, and then kind of wrote it back down. Mistake there, didn't have enough eyeballs on it. So that being said, I can definitely see it going some short some more. What are your thoughts? Kelly D is, what are your thoughts on MU? MU, interesting. Let's see here. I'll draw some fibs for you there real fast, my friend. All right, so it failed exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say at the 618 here. So this is basically, it's telling you it's having some resistance here to the upside, and it's below the 50% retracement. It close below 21. That's not a good sign here as well. Again, with the overall market selling off, it's kind of hard to completely go off this because the overall market sold off. It wasn't just this individual stock, and this stock is levered to probably a lot of ETFs that sold off as well, and just kind of creates that collapse effect. So you got to be super careful about that. But if once the 8 kind of crosses into 21, if you're not already long it, it could be a potential buying opportunity. But the Chaikin money flow is trying to go print positive. RSI is kind of coming off, but that's due to the stock selling off. The momentum's somewhat flat, to the lack of a better words. On the weekly chart, looking like a lot of support around the $38. I know that is quite far off from where we're currently looking at it, but that is on the weekly chart, looks super resilient in that sense for potentially adding to your position. Thoughts on Zynga? Why? No, I'm just joking with you. What's the ticker symbol is for Zynga? I can take a look. Alex, you're welcome. What was your question? GM, okay. Same, just subbed. Great, thank you for subbing, man. I appreciate that. Again, if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit the like button. But once you hit the like button, scroll just a little bit lower, and you'll see in the description tab, you'll have, I set up a Discord chat for talking stocks and things like that. It's somewhat new to it. I'm going to be creating more alerts and a better environment within there for keep the conversation going about trading ideas throughout the day and so forth like that. It's going to be the best way to kind of have fun, enjoy the markets, share trading ideas, live and learn and things like that, and just kind of have a nice little place to do that. How did you find a mentor, Chase? I didn't find a mentor. I found some trading stuff that I enjoyed. I think I have it pulled up here. So these guys over here at Simpler Trading were really cool. I got it at a fairly decent price when they were having a sale. It's pretty expensive. I think it's a couple $100 a month. If you can do it for a month or two, you can take. I think they do a pretty nice free trial as well. I'm not telling you this is the best thing. It was okay for me at the time, but I kind of grew out of it. So Tasty Trade is something I follow a lot as well. Looking there for Tasty Trade to why didn't it load? Did it close? Oh, hold on. That's silly thingamajigger. Tasty Trade. Yeah. So these guys over here, they basically have their own financial news channel, and they talk about so many different things about options in particular. So I use actually their options trading platform, which is Tastyworks, and I have that link as well below if you want to check that out for trading options. It's probably one of the best trading platforms for options out there, in my opinion. They kind of do the keep it simple kind of thing. So within the Tasty Trade environment, they have the Learn Center up here. It kind of breaks you down to what certain things mean, what kind of option strategies, trade management stuff, and this is a really nice setup to kind of click on here on, what is the standard deviation stuff, and sometimes there's like videos linked to it and so forth like that, and kind of gives you a better understanding on what the deviation channels are. So I highly recommend them. It's a free resource. Definitely use that. I really like those guys over there. So that, hopefully that answers you, my friend. That was Chase. Can you do Jets? That's the airline ETF that I am shorting. Jets. That's yeet, man. You got another winner chicken dinner here. It's below the 21. The 8, 5, and the 8. I've never really broken above it. It's still trying. It had to try to push higher, but again, that was probably due to the overall momentum of happiness and things like that. Just like, oh, the airlines might be coming back. No, it's not. And they just kind of continue to sell off here. Again, I could see this going lower to like 13 potentially if the 8 doesn't cross above the 21, and if the ticker doesn't close above the 21, it's still a short basically below the $21 level. Love the analysis, makes me dizzy learning so much. Hey, I apologize if it made you dizzy, but just keep it simple. Like just create one or two trading ideas of like just trading around the 21 and using the 8 and 21 and just kind of trading in around that. The thing is what a lot of people get stuck with, and I've learned a lot by losing a lot of money in the sense of thinking I have to trade because everyone's trading. That's not true. Like people have asked, hey Ken, why don't you do a live stream during the day? I'm like, well, first of all, I work during the day, and that my trading days be super boring in the sense of I would just wait for alert to go off, and then I would trade around that. So there's nothing sexy about it. Do you ever trade live or work at McDonald's? I do not work at McDonald's, but that's J Ken. I do have a full-time job though. I do a sysadmin, and I'm an IT manager. Thoughts on LK? Isn't LK still locked up, right? Yeah, Luckin Coffee still on like literally a halt. It's halted, so they're still. You can't even trade them. So they haven't been able to trade them since the 6th of last month. I need to do a video update on that. That's just a complete crapshoot. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, LK is doomed for sure. I'm long Tesla, huge long term, but hate the next few days. Also big in VIT, long again, may jump out of the couple days. Want in the Discord group. Okay. So you went to the Discord. Okay. What's VTI? Is that Vantos? What is it? Ventos? Oh, it's a Vanguard. Okay. Vanguard total market. Okay, that makes sense to have that for sure. You're long Tesla long term. I'm long term Tesla as well. I know there's going to be some damage for Tesla the next 2 or 3 days due to people catching up on what Elon has said. Can you look at VLIC? Sorry. And fat fingers. I'm not sure what they do here. This looks super. It closed above the 21. Again, looks like earnings are coming out. This looks very interesting in the sense of it's kind of it's a struggle fest here. Not being able to kind of break out, kind of curling over. This pattern's so tight right now. It's just tightly wound like string, and it could pop either direction. The Chaikin money flow is trying to print higher. Momentum's somewhat stagnant. RSI is stagnant. I just don't know. It looks like the last quarter wasn't great. Was there other quarters on this as well? Is this a newer stock? It looks like it's a newer stock. Is this a newer stock? Yeah, it looks like it's a newer stock, so it's a newer IPO. So not too much data on it. So it looks like kind of a downward trend for me, kind of just trading sideways, so I don't have any reactions to that, my friend. Homer Simpson still long. LK. God bless you, my friend. God bless you. Yeah. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, so this is just if it's trading below 21, it needs to prove itself to continue going higher. Davon, you're saying, oh, Tesla puts tomorrow. You think it's going to be hard to buy puts into Tesla, to be quite honest, and I don't like to trade something so volatile like Tesla in the short term. Like I said, Tesla can go lower tomorrow, but it can also go higher if Elon Musk comes out and just posts something else. But that being said, the overall market could go up as well, so that could drive up a lot of different things. If the overall market goes up and Tesla goes down, that is completely tied to most likely Elon Musk's tweets and just people just being scared and figuring out what the F did you do to us, Elon? We've given you all this love and this cold stock here. Again, a Tesla did not break the 21. I think the next day or two it can come back to the 650 level, potentially to fill this gap if the market continues going lower or if there's a lot of selling Monday into Tuesday. That's my analysis there. If that doesn't that occurs, I can see it trading sideways and going above here to nearly staying above 700 to go to maybe to 720, 750 in the short term. Tesla's price movement. Thank you for doing the @ symbol. Actually, you should probably do that so I can see the ticker symbols better. Tesla's is wow. Tesla's price movement is $92. That's a lot, right? $92. So basically would be 790 ish. Let's go here. So they'd be kind of coming up to this resistance here, which again, anything can happen. So I kind of want to pop up to this chart here. So 779 or 775 level here, basically showing here could be a potential move higher, and then the low of what would I say, $92. So it'll be around 610. Sure, let's do it right here. Again, Tesla is super volatile stock, and anything can happen, especially in Tesla. Multiple people can come out and just be positive. Battery days around the corner too. We don't know if Papa Elon sold off the stock for us to be able to buy back to get in before battery day. I don't know. There's a lot of theories out there on what's going on there. I definitely see what can happen there. I'm not sure. Again, it's completely coin flip. I just needed to prove right now. If you had to put a gun to my head, it looks somewhat positive in the sense of as long as it doesn't break below the 21. Let me give you. On a longer time frame, on the weekly time frame, it still looks fine. It can go all the way down to 644 for the high momentum shifts to continue going higher. So that's just kind of give you a perspective on that. Denzel, Activision is going up as well. I hope so as well. Yeah, I think so. What platform are you using to do or read these charts? Homer Simpson, that is Thinkorswim. Thank you, Makeshift. I think you've asked that a lot. Homer Simpson, Tastyworks is what I use to execute my options trades. I use Thinkorswim for charting and alerts, and then I use Tastyworks to execute my trades. No problem. Thank you, Yeet. Homer Simpson. I appreciate that, Makeshift, for that referral. If you click on that, you don't have to. Like, it's just I give you my honest opinion. Like, I don't really, yeah. Any more comments, questions, concerns out there? Has anyone, again, don't forget to hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. I really do enjoy doing these live streams a lot because I get to interact with folks. So that's the reason why I went ahead and just did a Discord channel so I can interact with you folks more and potentially to get more trading ideas out there, share my thoughts, and potentially the way to support me with the Patreon potentially going forth, and kind of wanted to give more feedback on what the users want to see, things like that. Wesley, Tastyworks over Robinhood. Tastyworks, you actually have to pay for the commissions. They're low, fairly low. I think trading stocks is free. Options there's like $1 a leg. But to close the trade is free. To open the trade is $1 per leg. Okay, sorry. We got a couple more tickets coming in. We got Homer Simpson for Microsoft. Oh, AMD. Great. That is a great call. I like that. I like AMD a lot. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at those before we sign off. MSFT, Microsoft. Again, full disclosure, own Microsoft a lot. To look at this, kind of sold off again with the overall market, but it did a lot better than a lot of other stocks. Looking at still being above the 8 exponential moving average, not getting near the 21. If it gets near the 21 in the short term, I would like to buy some with the overall market kind of in teeter-totter mode. Let's go ahead and look at the futures where I think we're down 1% or something like that. Yeah, just down 1% here in the futures market overnight. Again, anything can happen around 4 o'clock. I think it's when other markets start closing and going forth. So we'll see what happens there as well. Microsoft, I love it. I really do. Kind of give you a quick fib analysis here. Oh, did it click for me? There we go. So it's super strong. It has quite a bit of overhead resistance here at the 178 level. Again, that's due to the fib retracement of 58.6 here. Looking at here, that's basically where the downfall started. That's when we had a little bump up here, and just showing really strong resistance level on the upward momentum, but then on the downward momentum, looking at the 618 to be as support if it does come down, and that would be around the 6830 level. So depending on, those are just kind of like your trading lines if you're driving through the highway of the financial markets, looking at these kind of I needed to prove to get out of its way to go higher or lower. So potentially could be trading sideways for some time. Even though with earnings coming out, we'll see what happens. Again, the market could sell off. I don't have a crystal ball, but we'll just go from there. Let's do AMD as well. Let's do AMD. AMD, I love it. I actually want to add to this position. You can kind of see here, if it gets down to 46, I'm going to buy probably some stock, honestly. Just to hold for long term. I think it had a pretty good strong quarter. It just kind of sold off because it ran up previously. It was near literally its all-time high. That is super rare compared to all the other tech stocks that we see out there right now. Having a super strong quarter, being basically a market leader, even though with Intel slowly catching up, but AMD is still doing fairly well for themselves. Again, if it sells off tomorrow to even to the 45, the 46 level, 47, I would like to maybe start creating a small position into this. Because if we flip this to a longer term time frame, which this is my time horizon more likely is around the $47 level if it kind of comes into that. So that is my opinion on AMD. Do you believe in GME as much as Michael Burr? No. I don't believe in GameStop at all. God bless them. Next pump in that this week, oil should pull back. I think so too. Nat's going to probably go higher for sure. I it's going to hurt my short position, but I'll just like to add to it once it gets higher. Wesley, you're welcome. AMD pre-value is too high. Homer says I don't think I don't know. I disagree. I think AMD, it needs to come down a little bit more for me to buy, because I don't like to buy at the high, but we'll see. Alex Lee says Snap and Shop. Snap is, what is that? Snapchat, right? Snapchat. That looks super interesting. They had a great quarter, right? They had a pretty good quarter. Super strong momentum here. Looking at basically still above the 5 and the 8 exponential moving average. The 21's catching up here as well. Depending on how this week goes, for a potential kick higher to $18+ and again support being around $15.30 if it comes selling off, because it did have a pretty strong earnings jump. Things kind of need to recalibrate in the sense with the moving averages, but that being said, even on the weekly chart, we're seeing quite a bit of overhead resistance around the $18 level, so it really needs to get a lot of momentum to be able to bust through that. Homer says look at ZM. ZM is another level. Yeah, ZM is crazy. So ZM is a Zoom, not ZOO. This is ZOO. ZM. I think ZM is, again, it's below 21. Once this pink line crosses above through the 21, and it has a pretty strong downturn into it, it could be a potential short. But we kind of see here it's still somewhat kind of holding basically the what is this? The 55. So this could hit the 55 exponential moving averages to kind of level off, and we can see where we go there. What do you think about CarMax? Ooh, I'm probably gonna say short. That's just my initial gut instinct on that. I don't know how they're making money. Let's see here. Okay, it broke above the 618 and then kind of failed. It looks like it's trying to curl over. It's still above the 21. Fundamentally, I don't understand on how they're making money, but I guess I just trade the charts. This could be a quite reversal here. It looks like the overall quarter took well, which is strange, right? Are they giving away free cars? Like, okay, interesting. Yeah, I can't short it yet because it hasn't broken my rules of the 8 crossing to the 21, or it hasn't been has not gone below the 21 there as well. Hopefully that helped you, sir. Okay, whoa, this chat just blew up. About NAT calls last week, facepalm. Homer Simpson, like a lot of people bought that. And that's what I was trying to give a warning of a potential short squeeze coming in, because there's just so much momentum pushing higher. SPY puts, Danielson, maybe. Again, it hasn't really broken my rules yet, depending on what your rules are for trading and short positions. It has not closed below 21 for me, and the moving average has never crossed yet. So that being said, I can't short it yet. What about Disney? Manuel, I think I'm going to do a video about Disney. Disney is going to be a pretty large position as well in my portfolio, but that's going to be very difficult to. I'm just going to give you a quick little rundown on DIS. DIS is, again, a lot of their business is closed. The parks, the cruise lines, hotels. Yes, they still have a streaming service. They have no sports going on right now. Yes, they do have the Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu going, but that's not making up a lot of their market share within all the different industries that they're currently in. So that being said, this could be a huge coin flip. You kind of see how my parameters set here. It needs to break 113 or it can go down to 92. Depending on how the next day trades and see how Monday turns out, I can give you a better analysis on it. So if you join the Discord and ask me again, I can give you a better understanding on the chart side of things. But that being said, this is a completely there's going to be so much of a coin flip here on earnings for sure. Sheets is I'm trying to go long term with Six Flags. Heard that NJ is slowly opening back up, so it might be a good move to just buy stock. I think so too. Like Six Flags has a pretty good dividend, I believe, but I think, yeah. What is Six Flags ticker? If you can show me, I can take a look. Can you talk about Starbucks? Yeah, we can talk about Starbucks. SBUX. They had a quarter two, right? Interesting. I kind of don't like. Let's see. I want to get this out of the way. Where is the? Okay, we're gonna go the high from here. Swing high to swing low. Kind of failed here. It's below the 50% retracement. It looks like it kind of barely closed below 21. With the overall market kind of going. It looks like it has, in the short-term trend, this could be going lower to a certain extent. Let me pull up this chart here for you to kind of give you better analysis. There's not that much support basically until $65. That seems crazy, right? Basically, it could go to 71 for initial support, but it's not going to be that much. But then potential support around this gap fill around 68. I can see that slightly being a little bit more of a support level there if you're short it, with a lot of overhead resistance of this 200 exponential moving average up here. You can kind of see here, this better on this chart here, where it just kind of tapped and then failed. It could try to, if the overall market is positive next week and it gets some momentum and it does well Monday, Tuesday, could see a nice little push higher. If it doesn't close above the 200 here, which is around the $80 level, then we could see another little sink lower. So that's my initial thoughts on Starbucks. Let's see here. I'm going to be probably signing off here in a little bit. If you guys haven't already, definitely hit that like button. Go ahead and scroll down to the description and hit the join the Discord if you're familiar with that. So Discord is basically, it's a text and voice chat system, allowing for communities to interact and things like that. We're going to be adding some bots and some other cool aspects into that to kind of make a really awesome technical stock trading community. Wesley just says NJ just opened up state parks and golf courses. Yeah, again, I think I'm happy to see a lot of things opening back up slowly and surely. Again, that's going to be a huge component to a lot of different things in the market, and I tread more positive to the optimistic side, sometimes more than the negative at times. So I'm more optimistic in the market than I am negative. Richard Thomas says a Ford. We can do some Ford. Those poor guys over there, like they're just getting really sideswiped, in lack of a better words. It looks like just like GM. Getting tired here. I'm sorry. Been up since 4:30 this morning. So you can kind of see here it's been trading in waves. So it kind of goes up, fails at 21, kind of broke 21, failed here at the 34. Failed here at the 34 as well. So this is going to be basically my break in the sand here. It needs to break above the 34 here. It closed below 21. The pink line, which is the 8, is crossing below 21 for a kick lower. So we kind of want to see if it breaks above or breaks below the $4.75 level for a potential lower. Again, I don't know how much lower this can go. It can go to 0 for sure. We'll see what happens for sure. Then let's do a couple more here. Then we're gonna call it. We'll do Carnival Cruise Line again, and then Greg B is asking for Verizon, which is VZ. I own AT&T, so the opposite of this. Verizon just bought. What did they just buy? They bought something. They bought Blue Jeans. Blue Jeans, the video conferencing system. I think so. I need to Google that. So you can see here, this has just been trading sideways. It did close below 21, and it's below the 618 on the fib side here, which is not the most positive thing. Earnings was blah normally. I can just see this trading sideways because it did have quite a bit of a run. So this could be trading sideways. If the 8 exponential moving average starts crossing to the 21, this could potentially going lower. How much lower? We'll take a look here. Looking at support level basically at 55 if it does break that level to go lower, and then again overhead support or resistance at around $59. So we're going to create that there as well. Kind of create your parameters there and go from there. Yeah, make sure. So CCL is again, it's just too much of a question mark for me. Technically trading it's going to be difficult. Of course, a lot of support basically at the $8-7 level if it ever gets down there again, and a lot of overhead resistance. There's a lot of overhead resistance at 16. It needs to break that for sure. So we're going to put those alerts out there. I'm going to put this basically here at $12. So if it gets down to $12, potentially it can steep and go lower and bleed lower, because right now it didn't close below 21, but it looks like it's trying to, with the moving averages curling over. And then looking at the only thing that's somewhat concerning or positive is the Chaikin money flows trying to break positive, and that's usually a good sign. But all the momentum indicators are pointing lower, so that just basically means someone just going, we'll see what happens. Oh, you bought at 8? Okay, so you're fine. You're okay. you made some profit. It is a good position for sure, yes. Yeah, if you have, again, anything can happen. If you're a hard sell, you just have to make sure if you can get out of time. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and call it here, my friends. Again, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you're interested, we have a Discord chat set up, and potentially by next live stream, we'll have some kind of a Patreon reward system as well set up for all you users out there who are interested to support the channel and the growth of just trying to understand options, trading, build a little bit more fundamental stuff. Kelly D, last one, EMR, okay? EMR. I don't even know what that is. Edison Electric. Let's see here. Draw a quick fib for you. There. So it looks like it didn't broke basically above the 50% retracement and came down pretty hard again, probably due to the overall market selling off. It has not closed below the 21. I think this could be a potential opportunity if it closes above the 21 for the next week or so and kind of trade sideways. It would be a great opportunity to get in if you haven't already. If it breaks the 21 and with the other moving averages crossing into the 21, that could be a very potential sign to get out and sell, or if you're, I don't know what position you are. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. All the support. Again, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Again, if you haven't joined it yet, I'll see you guys in the Discord chat. We can talk there. I'm probably going to be getting some Z's here in a little bit. Got to do some big projects at work tomorrow. But that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, this is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.